Cyberpunk Uncensored.
Back from where we did last time, but this is Cyberpunk Uncensored. We are running a stream, this is Near Future Noir, and we are looking at the adventures, the truck stealings and jackings of this band of misfits, in which we have Deuce, Ardor, and Cherry Bomb. Pathfinder won't be making it today, but that's just the nature of the game. So, last time, you left the Southside Vomitorium, stepping out the door with, in your hot little hands, a Microsoft, other evil empire. Moving right along, small Freudian slip there. A Militech credit card, which has a fairly substantial limit on it. Half a block away, you pop into the local Militech exchange, where you're able to quickly and surreptitiously order a whole stack of stuff and get it customarily delivered, immediately.
When would you like delivery? On the table right here, please.
Exactly. It comes in nice, large, cling-wrapped Militech bags with their logo pasted across the side. All fresh, all Internet of Things chipped, which Deuce will know how to remove in a few short minutes once you walk away from the building. And your orders are inputted, processed. The credit card runs its little business. You step away from the small, glossy little facility that you have. You've avoided cameras the entire time. Deuce, because I know you're an expert in security systems, you're able to pick them out and identify them to the individuals, or the other three individuals in the group. Pathfinder is going to take a back seat, and I know he'll place his order at some point, but we'll leave that for later. And then, I assume, from this point, where are you planning on heading? Because if you remember, where you're placed is somewhere in the bounds of the Glen, and your truck is over at the connection of University District and Little Europa, where it is still being watched by two of Ardor's, I don't know what to call your low-level followers, initiates? Associates.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound dubious at all. But, moving right along, where do you go to from here? You've got your stack of gear. It's all fresh wrapped, straight there. If you start wandering anywhere near the combat zone with stuff like this that's in open display, you won't own it for long. And as far as you know, the credit card is pretty much burnt at this point.
Go back to where the truck is. That's my plan.
Yep.
The mission that we were given last time to liberate the AV before it was going to be chopped.
Yep.
Was that expected to be done tonight?
Yes. And it's
okay.
there.
So we've got like 12 hours to.
Well, the changeover
Actually,
of
when
guards was about
yeah.
7 p.m. or 6:30 to 7 o'clock. That's when things will be at the Wix. The shop will have shut down for the day, and you'll be able to then sneak in. No fatalities, because that will then arc up the people of Militech in a bad way. But to walk in, grab the thing, and out the back door, basically. And Pathfinder is a very capable pilot. At the moment,
The AV wasn't in the combat zone, right? That was the organ place.
The organ place.
The organ farm.
Oh, no, the Mark Kettle's organ farm, that's out in Astracado, which is like half an hour out of the city. And
They're close to where our target is.
yeah, and Templeston is the other place, and I know you've got to drop the AV off at one and then drive across to the other, which is about 10 minutes away. And yeah,
So
you know enough
is
of the
there-
region to be able to go, yeah, it's close.
I want to go back to Little Europe and get that truck moving because of the agents, like when they called, just in case they decided to listen in and find out the location of the area. I'd
Well,
like
I
to tell
believe
them to move.
You called Alice on a burner phone or a burner agent. So it's unlikely they can trace where you are, but they'll know where she is or he is, and the contents of the conversation. And I don't think you gave away where the truck was located. So, but you start walking back towards the place. Are you unpacking the gear on your way, or what are you doing with it?
Keeping it subtle and in other bags, so it's not showing where it is. We'll wait until we can get somewhere out for you to put them.
Yeah, but Sheree, you had was it a shield? Now, when you say shield, I'm looking at something that's probably 2 foot across, 3 to 4 foot high. It's not a small object. It's not what you'd call concealable. Being subtle with the equivalent of a riot shield, I don't foresee that happening. Unless you, I don't know, pick up some paint or do something else with it, it's going to be blatantly obvious. As to the other weapons, the assault rifle with the underslung grenade launcher, they are generally not easily concealable unless you break them apart and put them into a large bag. The toolkits, they're fairly nondescript, and I can't remember the other stuff that was on the list, but
Grenades.
Grenades are not a problem. They're, you can slip them
Where
in.
are we at the moment?
You are in the Glen, probably about 1 kilometre south of the old Corp Centre. Yep. And it's a short little jaunt across the University District and up to Little Europa. You're about half a block away from the Militech area at the moment.
Oh, the Militech area, that's our mission?
No, the Militech
Oh, sorry.
exchange that you've just been through.
Oh, just been to... Okay, yep, sorry, yep.
We can hire a taxi, something like that, to put the gear in the boot of the taxi and stuff like that,
Sure.
rather than walking.
You're going to call, let's see, who's your favourite brand of taxi provider?
Over top.
Sorry?
All right,
Over top.
but we'll
Chrome Top?
if we get dropped.
DeLorean? No, Delamain. Or possibly combat cabs.
Probably combat cabs.
All right.
Yeah.
Combat
I've got
cabs.
But-
yeah. There's a guy I know from Combat Cab, Sergey. I ended up drinking with him at one time. He's a cool dude.
Okay. You give Sergey a call. He manages to get there within. It's 6 minutes, but then again, traffic's kind of heavy around here. And the 4 of you pile into the back of the cab, with the gear being stowed in the boot. A short little muscle through the traffic. Nothing of interest.
Drop us off 2 blocks away from the location.
Yeah, yep. You give an address about 2 blocks away. It really doesn't matter what it is. You are then grab your stuff out of the back of the cab. Sergey says, "It's okay. This one's on me." In favour for something you did back in your time with Militech. And heads off into the noonday sun. It's now hitting about 12:30, 12:40. You can easily see your 2 little guys sitting on the front wheels on the front bull bar of the truck, smoking something. Are they keeping an eye out? Probably not. But they're there. It's a thought that counts anyway. So, you're now back at the base of the truck. What are you going to be doing?
I'm going to tell them to, like, that when we leave, to take the truck somewhere it won't be found, but it will be safe.
Okay. All right. The smarter of the two has average intelligence. And yeah, look, the old corpse center, no one goes there. That's mainly because it's a radiation dump zone, but anyhow.
Would radiation... Hey, Juice, would radiation basically cause issue with the data on the surface?
It's best not to have it radiated just to be safe. I haven't had a proper chance to look over the gear to see exactly, but yeah, let's not.
I mean, would you be able to tell if the shipping container has anything that could help with radiation?
It'll stop low level.
Yeah, and given that the explosion was approximately 20 years ago, yes, there are low levels of radiation throughout the black area in the center of the map. But the shipping container should be perfectly fine to do that. And Biotechnica won a fairly massive contract to actually clean up a lot of the radiation in the center of the city, and they're using some sort of bio goo and basically distributing it all across the middle of the city for massive profits. So, the other suggestion was in the upper marina. And the not so smart of the other two goes, we could just drive it around the city lots. Sure, it's got plenty of petrol. You don't think either of them know how to drive this bloody thing, by the way.
I think the marina would be best. And do either of you know how to drive this thing?
No. Yeah, sure. Yeah, he's lying badly.
Okay, so how exactly do you remove the handbrake on this thing?
I've got a hammer.
Shuri just turns to Amor and says, we have to handle this.
I could grease the brakes, suggests the other one.
Shuri just turns and looks at
What's
with a
Doctor doing these days?
Sorry? Deuce?
The Doctor. Is he still hanging out with your group, Adolf?
Zero?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still there. He's playing with chemicals now.
Yeah, he might be a bit busy. At least he seemed to be a bit more educated.
He is intelligent, it's just that he uses his intelligence for other things.
He's definitely been educated. Whether or not there's much left up in the noggin, it's hard to say.
I was trying to avoid calling the people in front of us dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Honestly, I reckon even if we move it to upper marina, we've really only got to keep it hidden for
the main problem you're going to
another
have
12 to 24
firstly,
hours.
The truck is labelled Militech. You need to ditch the labels. Secondly, you realise that the container's got the important stuff. The truck itself could go. So if you can find somewhere to offload the shipping container, put it into legitimate storage, such as a, what do they call them, Fort Knox, you store it, whatever the hell you want to think.
Or just any container park, really.
Exactly. Then you can quite easily set that up.
Would Shuri be able to know anyone or anything, for finding a place to just take it to a container park, have it offloaded like it's a regular...
Well, you've all got local knowledge of Night City and you're all roughly educated, so you'd know there are places around. Will you pick up the latest and greatest or the closest and the easiest to work with? It doesn't matter. It just depends
I guess I'll maybe use Streetwise to see like a decent place that would be like,
It's actually a local knowledge intelligence based role, as opposed to Streetwise.
Can he use Streetwise to try and make sure we get one that's not likely to rip us off?
Yes,
Or isn't,
that will help.
like, is one that's protected and not...
Can I go for that? And also, could I also use bureaucracy to help have the container hidden in the system?
Okay. Well, first up, Ardor, can you make me a Streetwise roll to work out which one we're going for? And, sorry, Cherie, what did you say?
that wasn't right.
Shuri was also going to, just as Streetwise, she was going to compare notes with Ardor.
Go for it.
And also see if she could use bureaucracy for having the container to be there but not there and things.
Isn't there a skill like bribery?
Yes.
Yeah, there is.
Then I have that.
Excellent.
Would my persuasion roll actually be like the Streetwise? Because it's the same same skill and same thing. I just clicked the wrong one.
I think Shuri can probably talk you down
either way.
suggestion.
So yeah, I mean that's fine. Given it was the first roll off the rack, I'm happy with that. So anyhow, you drive round to a place in the Upper Marina. It's a container farm, and you are able to offload and store it for €100, which is probably €80 over the official rate. But those extra €80 make sure that it is watched and that it is appropriately protected by the local security, so that things don't go wrong with it.
It gets stacked, put into another stack, so it's very hard to get to.
Yeah.
Like, well, I'm out of money, so someone has to spot it.
I can chuck it in for that.
Okay. So, knock that off your sheet. You're now sitting up in the upper end. Did you leave the other two associates of yours, Ardor, back at Little
They can come and basically take this truck and learn how to go drive it.
I don't think they'd be able to fit in the cab with all of us, so
No.
basically tell them that they can head home.
Thank you for your service, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So
Thank you for helping us with our mission.
And hand the truck off to Path.
And, with the truck,
I was going to suggest
find someone to sell it to.
I was going to suggest handing it off to Path. It was Pathfinder, right? Wasn't it, Gomi?
Yeah. Pathfinder is the nomad who is sitting here with you.
Handing it off to Pathfinder and let Pathfinder deal with it with his own contact.
Hold on for a moment.
Or we could sell it.
Do we have any idea if it is actually a Digital Horizons fleet vehicle?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, when I was removing the transponder, did it look like it was a Digital Horizons in-house vehicle?
Is definitely a one that belongs to Digital Horizons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is an in-house fleet vehicle. It is a older one. It's
Give Alice a call and let her know that there's some equipment that we found on the side of the road which we believe might belong to the company.
okay.
Or we sell it, and then we take that as payment for us clearing our names that they got us into this mess.
I'm gonna try running it by Alice to see whether it's likely it'll be covered by insurance.
Yes, agreed, because we don't want to piss off our own company
Yeah.
who are at least trying to not screw us.
Okay.
We could just say we dumped it on the side of the road, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so you call Alice.
Yeah.
You run it. It's just like legally, it disappeared from somebody else's operation. It's not part of my bottom line.
Yep.
Those are code words for sell.
Yeah.
Would Pathfinder have the best contacts for selling vehicles?
Nomads generally do, but Pathfinder is part of the Khan Shipping Consortium, a bunch of Mongol sky pirates. So, yeah, actually, I'm just gonna. Can I roll for him? I wonder. Does he even have a character sheet at the moment? Nope, not there. Does he have skills? Probably not.
I'm just hitting him up, seeing if he's still online.
That's okay. His voice is fried, but he's got no skills listed in the sheet. So, look, I'm just going to roll something here. 1. That's a bad one. All right. He doesn't know anybody here in the city who could take the truck. I just rolled a 110, so that's a no.
Yeah.
I guess I can do streetwise again to find a dealer.
You can find someone.
Or like find a mechanic, like a scrap mechanic.
A scrapper. Okay, look, yeah, make me a roll. Let's see how it goes. It's now sort of hitting around 2:30 in the afternoon. 16.
16.
That's not too bad. Yes, you
Would
do.
you be able to assist him at all?
Not really my thing.
You can make a roll if you want. And it doesn't help. Excuse me. Alright, so as you look through your Rolodex of people you might be able to talk to, you reach out to your local constituents and other associates, let's say, and you make use of your faith. You draw on the people of faith who show perseverance. Let's go with that. One of them does know a used car dealer who can actually deal with the vehicle for you and will take it off your hands and provide you cash money for it.
Righty. Let's do that.
You do
there is a
get
barter skill.
Sorry?
There is a barter skill, but I don't have it.
I think it's part of the fix special ability.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's the fixer special ability in trade, but there's also, and this is where I should have printed out my sheets. There is an additional skill around the idea of trading. Because the fixer...
Oh, yeah, there is. I have 6 in it.
Well, that's kind of useful then. I'm glad you bothered to look at your character sheet.
Oh no, it's down the bottom. I have all the skills that I use up the top, and then down the bottom there's just trading.
Well, do you wish to negotiate with this used car salesman?
Right, like I'll go in, I'll talk, and then we'll see like how much is he offering
and how much
for his
do you
vehicle.
want to blow on luck?
It doesn't matter. I've got 6 points. Like I'm very well versed in the art of trading and bartering.
Let's go with it.
So how much is he offering initially for the vehicle?
Well, he's probably offering about 15% of 10% of value. So of what you consider full value. So yeah, trading you should be able to get 20 to 30%, but because it's obviously suspect, he's only offering you 10. So which would be about, let's go with 18,000.
I will say, how about we go 15%? That's 15% through all the trouble I had getting this, and I know that its value is worth. He's going to end up making a huge markup on it. I believe that we deserve 15% of the value of the vehicle due to the difficulty it took getting it.
Because it's extra hot, you want to sell it to me for a higher price. Make me that roll, please.
And I'm going to use 5 luck.
Okay.
So it's 25.
25. Okay. Because of you and the fact that one of your congregation contacted me and put this through to myself, I don't follow your beliefs, but I'll do you 15%. Now I've got to calculate that in my head, which I think comes to 27,000. What you're going to end up with is a mixed stack of currency, because that's all he's got on him. All right, he has 15,000 in euro, which he has straight on hand, not a problem. He has another 12,000 in Militech scratch, which is redeemable through Militech channels. But if you want to wait for the sale, then he can do the other half in euro.
I'll take as is.
All right. Please make note of that, and you can split it anyway.
So you said
So that was 15k in Eddies and 12k in Militech.
Yep.
Yep. And we're still looking at a 4-way split, I'm assuming.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Pathfinder's here.
We'll divvy that up soon.
Let's say we've got at least 1k of eddies on each of us as spending money for expenses.
And leave the rest in the
Does that
block.
sound? Yeah. We'll sort that out a bit later, but at least that way we're not caught short.
Yeah. So that 11,000, and then you guys all get 1,000 each, and I'll have to divvy this up.
Just make note of it for now. We can work out the details after the session. Okay, so after an interesting debate with the salesman, the used car salesman, you're able to then kick off and head somewhere. It's now heading up to about 3:20. What's the next port of call that you guys are going to deal with? Because just as a reminder, the depot is still sitting there, and you can case it if you want. You have the files provided on Bridges, Hector, and Reverb, and I think that's about all you've got. You've also got the details of where the Mark Kettle's organ farm is actually located.
We'll do the AV as it's more of a priority, and it'll get us in the good graces of Militech, I believe. And then we will, once we've done that, we should decide whether we go to Organ Farm or go out to the Nomads for Reverb.
Well, the organ farm was near the drop-off point, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Correct.
Do I have a map of... let's see if I can find a map. Google Maps.
The Badlands.
Yes, of the Badlands. So we'll just go to Google Maps and... Oh, no, we don't want to be there. We want...
I was about to say, searching the Badlands will bring you up every role-playing game ever made has a
Pretty
Badlands.
much. What the hell? Not Night City. Alright, so... Morrow City, which is strangely enough where... what the hell? Oh... I love it. Let's delete the old stuff and hit that. And we have Morrow City. This is roughly where Night City is located.
You showing us something in particular on here? Yeah.
I'm just pulling up the map so people can see it.
Okay.
But basically, where you're located along the 41, Route 41, heads out to Estacado. That's where the Nomads are currently located and doing something out that way. To the north of that is Templeton, and Templeton is where Mark Kettle's organ farm is located. Sorry, I can't show you the map as such, but it is there. So yeah, those 2 points are outside the city. Within the city, you have Reverb's place, which I can't remember on this map. It's here somewhere.
It's on the Nomad pack.
Well, Reverb is... He's
The Decker.
He's the decker who is running part of the security detail with Arculus. And
Yeah.
So he's... I think he's located in South Night City, or just on the edge of it. We have both Bridges and Hector, who are, from memory, are in lockdown in the executive zone, which is over this way. And then the actual AV location, I will just add in here with a little hand-drawn shape, and not in a musty grey, but in something bright and cheerful. Let's go with a fluorescent green. And that's just outside of Westbrook. The Nomad Pack to the north of that was I've forgotten his name.
Was that Rev's
group.
Yep.
And they were more of a ground-based Nomad Pack that were running towards the north side of... It might as well be the Badlands, like every role-playing game ever. C'est la vie.
Yep.
So
now that we've got some cash, how about we hire a car
Yes.
so that we can not just catch taxis everywhere?
Yes. Indeed.
buy a car from this used car salesman that you've just been talking to.
Yeah.
Deal, great deal.
Deal. Yeah.
The 22 plus pro in the car as well.
Shit. How much? God damn! I'm gonna have to look at car prices. Fuck.
They're not cheap.
I think they were like 20 grand for a standard car.
Yep.
If you're buying it new. They weren't cheap.
No. This is
The only
one of
real
advantages
convenient
of
way to get a car is to be a nomad.
Yes. Or a corporate.
Yeah, but there might be a decent car that's fairly cheap. That's not.
Well, most of the stuff's pretty generic.
Yeah.
Sadly enough.
But the chance of cars getting damaged and or left behind and impounded or whatever else,
Well,
buying a
Yeah,
car
that's
may be
true.
a questionable investment.
Agreed.
renting a car
Yeah,
means you've just
true.
blown your bond on it as well.
Who would have thought the person with grenades would agree that the car might not be a good investment?
Yeah. Plus, I have no driving skill. I just get lucky.
That's what Pathfinder is for.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pathfinder is a driver, but also you can use your education for a can get by with the driving kind of thing.
How much would it be to rent a car, a 4-seater?
I wish I had the prices for a general car on hand, but given you said 20,000, I'm going to assume that their rental would be at least a fraction of that.
Well, if that's similar to what cars are now, a lot of car rentals are about $100 a day
Yeah, that seems about
for
right.
a sort of a sedan.
Well, we'll slap another 500 on top of that for bond. Who's making the purchase? And do you have identity papers to check in? Oh, wait, of course you do. You're a corporate. You've got corporate backing, so...
If we can have it registered under the corporation's name rather than our individual names. So it's rented as part of the
Still
fleet.
probably a terrible idea to
look,
where we're going.
I'd like to see you try, because you're not a corporate executive, you don't have clearance, and this is going to be a fairly fun persuasion role. So go for it.
Can Cherry try bureaucracy to get the correct form put through in a speedy amount of
look,
time?
please make sure you fill out your TPS reports as well. Go for it.
Yep.
Please make me roll.
May I add any luck to this?
If you wish to, please.
Yeah, because also I don't know how luck fully works yet. I haven't got my head around it yet.
Basically, your luck stack can be added onto the top of any skill roll. I have the house rule of if you spend 1 or more points of luck, then if you roll a 1, it doesn't count as negative. It just counts as a 1. So that way,
And how often does luck refresh?
at the end of every session. So it's
Yeah, put 2 on.
so bureaucracy 12. 2.
So that's 14. Damn, that's close.
Well, given that you do have Digital Horizon credentials, for a little extra persuasion, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, yeah, he can happily give you that for an extra €200 right now. This is the guy sitting on the case. Yeah, look, €200. That'll
That's using
my costs
still having on the corporate account.
of helping you with the form. Wink, wink. Nudge.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's for basically having the vehicles put on the corporate account, correct?
Well, not on the corporate account to be registered for the corporation, but you pay the bill.
Yeah. So it's more anonymous.
Just slightly.
You know what? How about we give him 1,000 EB from the funds we just got given, and then that makes it 10,000, and then that's $2,500 for everybody. And that makes it easy.
But why are we giving him 1,000 EBs?
Well, it's
Because
500 for bond, 200 for the persuasion. The 300 can cover however many days it is.
3 days.
There you go. Does it work for everyone?
Yes.
Yep.
Sounds like it's a deal. Yeah, he
Amazing.
takes the 1,000 eddies, peels off what he needs to, and registers it, types it in, adds. Paperwork is done in an instant, and he hands it from just scribble there, and he scribbles an X on his part of it, shoves it in. And
Oh yeah, and we, if we can get away with it, we'll sign it as Boris and/or Winston.
oh, does anybody have forgery?
I might.
Oh dear.
I almost had, but I then took it off for bureaucracy.
Okay.
I have forgery and a good tech skill, good tech
Please
stack,
make me a roll then. Let's see
No,
how
I
much
don't
you
have
stuff up
forgery.
their life.
and I'll use 2 points of luck.
God. Ooh, okay. Look, by pure random chance, you have emulated their signature perfectly. Was it Winston or Boris that you were aiming to do?
Wasn't Winston the higher up, the
Winston
corporate
was
guy?
the higher up.
Winston was the exec. Yeah.
Okay.
So I think him.
Yep.
Scroll. It's very beautiful,
Like-
elegant kind of writing. What you'd expect from a prep school corporate. And you're handed a
We have it on
piece.
Winston's name, corporate account, effectively,
Not-
cash paid
Cash
for Black
payment.
Ops Crew.
Yeah, cash payment.
Yep.
It's going to be.
think he might wanna
interesting
kill us.
fallout.
Yeah,
Somebody
the ultimate
does.
irony is we're paying for it with money from the truck that we stole from him.
Oh,
Yeah.
beautiful.
So yeah,
All right.
So that's a double whammy. We after we leave, we shouldn't give it back. Let's get him more in trouble.
Yes,
leave it
like
parked at
the,
Digital Horizons headquarters, and then they check with the company for who hired it.
Anyhow,
So
it is now 4:00. What are you planning on doing at this point?
I think we should head to. Shit, what? It's going to take us half an hour to get to the organ farm, and then half an hour back. So we don't have time to do that.
But if you fly out in
Before.
the AV4 that you steal, then you can get
Yep.
there,
Yeah.
go check out the organ farm, and that sort of.
But we have 2 hours until the changeover of the guards.
Yes, and you may actually want to case the place because you don't know
yes,
what
we
it
want to use that time to basically look over a place.
Yeah.
What about what was it? It was Reverb. Where was Reverb again?
Reverb was his apartment address where the phone transponder links to was just on the edge of the glen. I've just drawn another dot, so where the green dot is, but basically there.
We can just right there on the way back.
Yes, but what we could do is we could go and check Reverb's place, then go to where the AV is, and then we can use the AV to fly to the organ farm. And then we've knocked 3 things off.
I was thinking we could possibly do it on the way back, because then it looks like the AV, if they're following the AV, they'll see it land at a Nomad site, then fly off.
Yeah. Well, yeah, the AV is meant to be dropped off at the Nomad site.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
so, how about we do a drive-by Reverbs just to check if there's like sign of the door getting kicked in and things like that. Then go scout out the AV point.
Okay.
Yep.
Hang on, are you saying Reverb or Rap?
Reverb.
Reverb.
Netrunner from the facility.
So I was thinking for some reason it was Private Nomad, right?
No.
So yeah, Reverb, the Netrunner, which we have the file on.
Yes.
Yeah, let's have a
Yes,
chat with that.
Netrunner. Yeah.
All right. On the way there, you can quickly flip through the file. It's okay. The 12 pages that are provided are heavily redacted, and there's pages missing in the sequence. But the upshot is that he seems to have done 12 years duty with Militech, starting in cyber warfare, crossing over to PsyOps, and then flicking into neural operations. He spent the last 2 years at the Happy Valley Retirement Oasis, and was handed a dishonourable discharge from the Militech's armed services, and is receiving no pension as a result of it, but there are no details about what that was about. So cyber warfare is basically combat net running. PsyOps is psychological operations designed to manipulate information to dishearten, demoralize the opponent. And neural operations is that when you can jack into people's head and rework parts of their brain. Kind of used like that. I'm going to go with Eclipse Phase, but that's not the series. TV series with the not agents. It's right on the tip of my tongue. The sci-fi series that was, and I can't remember the name of it now. Bugger. But basically,
What was it? Dollhouse from
Dollhouse is a great example. Done back in 2000s, 90s.
Yeah.
But there's one more recently that involved. It's not Kobayashi. Kovacs.
Oh, Altered Carbon.
Thank you very much. Altered Carbon, because there's a whole bunch of
Yep.
neural-based
Yep.
interrogations that occur in that. And that's the kind of thing that this person was doing.
Yep.
I only watched the first season of that.
Yep. It's an enjoyable series. Well, I enjoyed it anyway. But, you know.
Yeah.
But basically, in this case, yeah, he's moved from cyberware into PsyOps and filed into neural ops, and has basically, done horrible things to people for money. Don't know how he
And is presumably well overqualified for babysitting a brain dance nursing home.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But this is the Militech side of his record.
Is there a substantial gap between the dishonorable discharge and starting at Happy Valley?
About a year.
Okay.
Yeah. If you want, I can go over the other two as well. But, you know, Bridges just reads as a fairly well-moneyed corporate who's gone through the ranks and basically working their way into middle management, while Hector is, well, using this job to pay for their way through university, doing the standard Night City Business School angle. Because Night City's Business School is the premier largest school in the state of Night City, that is.
Yeah.
But you arrive on the doorstep of where Reverb's apartment complex is listed. Some 15 stories of fairly nondescript flats. Heading up to the 6th story, the door has not been kicked in. It is still locked, sealed, untouched. Yeah.
Well, we've got two options. We could either try to sneak in. Like, does anyone have a fiber optic cable that we can sneak under the door?
I'm going to try knocking on the door or using the intercom or...
You knock on the door, no response. You use the intercom, no response. Actually, make me a perception roll. You get sort of clear static. It's perception, awareness, notice, whatever they call it now.
Yep.
22. You hear sort of the crackle of static and then a little bit of small animal scuttling.
Is it a electronic lock or physical lock?
It's a crappy physical lock.
Can I break it down? Break the door down?
You could probably quite easily pop the door off its hinges. You also notice the strong scent of perfume. Let's go with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll just break the door down.
Okay.
Do you want me to roll anything?
I don't think...
How many cats go running out into the corridor?
What's your body again? Something like 11 or something?
12.
Yeah. No, you don't need to. I mean, this is a fairly soft plexi wood door. I mean, if you tripped, you'd probably go through it.
Basically, I just cool man it and just go, oh yeah!
As he starts to do that, I also look at the door on the corridor opposite, just in case someone opens up with an assault rifle through that, like last time.
You keep an eye on the door behind you as Ardor pops the thing, and the door... Are you knocking it off its hinges? Yes, you are. It's just going to go bang, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Okay. It goes bang, flop, crunch. You see the scuttling of dozens and dozens of rats across the opening of the room. Do we have a readily available room complex here? Let's go with this one. No, I need to change it so you guys can see it as well. So you kicked in this, and in the middle of the room here, you can see the chewed, gnawed body of someone. Given the amount of rats in the room, you can't identify it quickly and easily.
Can look on the body. Can I look on the body to see if there's any, wallet or any identification?
As you step into the room, please make me a perception roll, and you head over towards the body.
He's just going to also have a look around outside whilst doing.
I'm heading in as well.
All right. So, Ardor, that's your perception. Deuce, that's your set. Yep. Okay. So, as you stepping through the door, Deuce, you do notice because of your security background, there is a small wall-mounted sensor. It's a basic little box this big that's monitoring the door, and it's now got a little trigger light on it that's warning somebody nearby that the door has been smashed down.
Yep.
It's not a non-standard addition to the room. When you get over to the body, Ardor, yes, you do find a set of well, okay, you can easily identify the person's been dead for 3 months, and but there is no ID on them.
Like 3 months?
Yeah. There's...
Yeah.
They're a pile of liquid goo at the moment?
They are very gooey.
Yeah.
The bones have been mostly picked clean. Yeah. There are a pile of personal effects over in the sink that have been cleaned down with bleach, as the bleach bottle is still sitting there next to it.
Yep.
And Cherie, you're looking up and down the corridor. There's nobody here at the moment. All right, so
He's trying to put on a professional air and things like that, like we're supposed to be here and we're opening it for a reason.
okay, filling the part. I'm not too sure what the appropriate acting role would be, but something of that nature. While you stand out there and look professional. So that leaves us with Deuce and Ardor. What are you doing on the inside?
You mentioned about personal effects.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that's been dumped in the sink. It looks like rings, jewelry, a skin watch, but you can see an emptied wallet, or sorry, an emptied purse. But that's about it. There is
nothing.
Ardor, can you check the sink there? I'm going to look for any electronic devices.
Okay.
So any agents, computers.
And Gomi, you mentioned a purse there, yes?
Yes, I did mention a purse.
It did.
And with the net run that's supposed to be here, male or female?
Male. Reverb is male.
It's like 2060, Cherie. If a male wants a purse, he can.
Also the fact of basically 3 months, wrong thing, I'm guessing a few other details.
Yeah. You can fill in the
I think this is Reverb.
But he did say that, Gomi did say that you noticed, Juice, a security box.
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would also say, yeah, the alarm's been tripped. Let's get what we can quickly.
I'll quickly take a look at the purse to see if there's anything, like, something that would hold, knowledge.
Alright, you've rummaged through the purse and stuff, and the other stuff in the bottom of the sink. You do find a key to a different room. Did I bother writing it? No, I didn't. 1304, which is one of the upstairs rooms.
Take it.
And that's anything of notice. Like there's the other stuff in the purse is, there's a crispy chicken buyer's card with stamped holes in it. It's got 2 to go for a free chicken piece. It's got a coffee card with no. Yeah.
I'll take the key and then I'll sprint up towards that room.
Okay. You letting the other two know?
Yeah, I'll just jingle the keys in front of them, and then just be like, I'm heading up there.
Up the
Question, with this layout of the building, is there a secondary way for that room to be exited? The 314, you said?
Alright. If you wish to exit the room, I'll just get rid of these other little markers from last time. Alright, so one set of rooms is butted up against another set of rooms, so there are the internal ones, and the corridor goes around in a big loop, so this is like one side of the building. And then there's a second side of the building, which is basically the same thing, but out here. If I had a little draw box thing, I could go something. Oops, it won't go any further. But that box shows where the other half of the building is. So it's reflected on the south side again. Yeah. So the top 4 rooms, which would be the 4 along this side, and again the 4 on the bottom side, all have external access. I.e. you can go out a window.
Yeah,
this is a window-based room.
Because what I want to do is, with Ardor there going directly for the room,
mm-hmm.
I want to try and go to the secondary exit area.
When you say the secondary, when you say the secondary exit, are you talking like the external fire escape access?
I guess.
Or are you talking the internal stairwell or the elevators? Which one?
Based on how the layout of the building is, how many ways could a person get out of that room
The
Oh,
one that
314.
he's going to, does that have window access?
Yes,
know?
you can go out that window. There are small little, I suppose, I don't want to say ledges, but small little spaces on the outside. If you're skilled enough, you could probably climb up and down the outside, but most of it's locked up and sealed, so that you to avoid jumpers, basically.
So
But
So there's-
internally, on this level, there is a stairwell. There is a bank of elevators with 2 elevators, and on the far end so you've got the stairwell at this end. On the other end, you've got an external stairwell with an emergency access push bar to the fire escape. Walking into this place, you notice the fire escape was slightly dilapidated because this is an older building. So it's probably not the safest fire escape, and money must have changed hands to keep it up to code.
So when Cherie sees Ardor shake the key, she shouts to Deuce, cover the elevators. I've got the fire escape.
Okay. So
That leaves the stairs for Ardor.
all right.
Ardor is very fast.
That's why you've got the stairs.
Okay. Make me an athletics roll just to see how puffed you are at the top. But while you're doing that, you do clear to the 13th floor. Well, this would be floor 12A because people have things about the number 13. You get to the actual room, pop the key in, turn the lock, click, click, open it goes.
So Ardor didn't see anyone on the stairs?
Ardor did not see anyone on the stairs as they ran up.
But Ardor has a move of 7, so he was very quick.
Oh, yeah. You're very quick. You would have got it done in... Well, given that you've gone from floor 6 to floor 13, which is 7 stories? 7 stories, yeah. And each boom would take a few seconds. You could probably get up there in, 2 minutes? Easy? Probably quicker. So let's go a minute and a half. So, upstairs in that room... There is no one in the room at the moment, although it looks like someone has been living here. There is a freshly cooked, half-eaten meal with a coffee next to it that is still steaming. There is a small tablet sitting on the table with a little... Sorry?
Free drugs.
No.
Wrong type of tablet.
You can eat it if you want, but as we all know with the
Increases iron
Galaxy
intake.
7, they do tend to explode when exposed to the air. And so chewing them down is not a good thing.
Increases iron intake.
And lithium. Anyhow. Yep. It seems like on this tablet someone has called Night City Police Department, warning of a break-in and possible murder downstairs at the room you have just left. Standing where you are, the door here is closed. The door here is ajar. The door here is completely open. In that thing there, you notice a whole bunch of business suits. There on the table is the stuff I've just mentioned. Stacked over here is 3 cases with what looks to be Militech issue equipment, some sort of drone setup at a guest, and that's about it for the moment. Can you make me a perception roll?
You want me to roll again since I crit?
No, that's fine. You can hear
It-
a
it-
soft
auto reroll.
boom of what is some large computer. When I say large computer, I mean like bigger than desktop, basically. So
A sniper deck?
fairly advanced one potentially. And Yeah, that's it. You do identify the two drones as...
So, some nuff, and that would happen to be me, accidentally hit the pause button on the recording and forgot to unpause it. So here's a summary of what happened next. Alright, so Ardor identifies the drones in the room, one as a robo-dog and a pair of aerial drones, while he's rummaging around in there. Cherie heads to the fire exit at the far end of the building, just basically making sure to keep things covered so they can't get out that way. Deuce moves to the elevators and calls one, gets in to cover sort of that side of things, because they all know that Ardor hadn't gone down the stairwell. Once in the elevator, Deuce actually uses the internal system to actually shut them down so they can't be going anywhere. So they've sort of locked him in upstairs, or that's what they think anyway. Next up we have, so while actually locking him down, Deuce actually hears somebody in the elevator shaft clambering down, kicking off the insides. He tells the others, pops the hatch and climbs up. At this point, Deuce and Reverb start exchanging gunfire with one another. It really doesn't have an effect because they're not really hitting anything at this point. Up on level 13, Ardor races across that top story, gets to the elevator doors, wrenches them open, grabs the abseiling rope and starts to pull up Reverb. Down on the lower story in level 6 where they've started, Cherie has noticed the NCPD on the ground floor moving in, basically making a secure area around the base of the building and setting themselves up as they go in. Reverb and Deuce exchange more gunfire with some minor effect, basically bouncing off armour. And at this point, Ardor sails down the elevator shaft to get at Reverb, since Reverb had sort of jumped onto the superstructure and let go of the rope. Once down at that level, they're sitting around level 5, I think it was. Ardor swings across and actually tackles Reverb, smashing him into the lift doors, snaking his free arm round to get a headlock. Reverb basically fights back by basically just trying to push an arm in through the elbow and lift up the thing to escape the hold. There's a bit of wrestling at this point, and after a few rounds they actually manages to do it and slips out of the hold and starts to fall, but Ardor snaps a hand around and grabs Reverb by the scruff of the neck. Swinging back on top of the lift, Ardor then sort of follows up with a nice elbow strike, knocking Reverb unconscious. By this stage, the police are about 2 floors below and working their way up. Cherie risks the fire escape and heads up to join the others on another level. And at this point, they all sort of mosey up to 13, hide in apartment 1304, and to try and wait out the police. They do check Reverb for any fatal injuries to make sure he's not dying on them, because they do want to interrogate him later. They make sure all the other gear around the place that was used for their escape has been concealed, and yes, that's where we ended the session. As always, check out Cyberpunk Uncensored for tips, resources, ideas, all sorts of stuff. There's a lot of discussion happening on our Discord. We have a Facebook group and a website dedicated to this sort of thing. Till next time, people.
Cyberpunk Uncensored.